Hi everyone, so today we're going to go through another 2020 election prediction between Donald J. Trump of New York and Amy Klobuchar of Minnesota. So again, with some of these ones that I will be doing coming up, including a few of the ones I've just done between potential Democrats and Trump, most of these people don't have a chance of winning. I mean, Amy Klobuchar, she might have had some resemblance of a chance a few weeks ago, maybe 2 months ago, but right now she's just 1%, 1.5%, not doing too well there. So we'll be going through this 2020 election prediction between Amy Klobuchar of Minnesota and Donald J. Trump of New York. Okay, so let's just get right into it. So Amy Klobuchar we see winning Washington, Oregon, California, Hawaii, New Mexico, Illinois, Vermont, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, the District of Columbia, New York, Minnesota. She's from Minnesota. Because of that, we see that one moving into the safe Democratic column. Minnesota moves into the safe Democratic column, and Maine's first congressional district. As for Donald Trump, we see him winning Alaska, Utah, Idaho, Wyoming, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, Kansas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Arkansas, Missouri, Mississippi, Alabama, South Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, West Virginia, most of Nebraska, except for that second congressional district. So 125 electoral votes for Donald Trump, 198 for Amy Klobuchar. So right now in the Electoral College, Amy Klobuchar has quite a decisive lead over Donald Trump. So where can Trump make up some of this ground? He can make it up in Texas. We see him taking the state of Texas by quite a comfortable margin. We don't see Amy Klobuchar winning there. We see Trump winning there, but Amy Klobuchar, again, we don't see exciting the Latino base in the Latino Democratic base in the state of Texas. We don't see that really resonating with a lot of voters there in Texas. And yes, Beto O'Rourke did come close, but he didn't win, and that was in a blue wave year. So Texas moves into the leaning Republican column. Okay, so that's Texas. The next state we will be looking at is the state of Arizona. Now, a lot of people are putting this in the Democratic column, but I'm not so sure for a lot of these. Yes, it did go blue in the midterms, but it is still a Republican state. Yes, people often cite the 2018 Senate race where Kristen Sinema won, but she only barely won, and that was in a blue wave year. And the Republican governor, Doug Ducey, won by a very comfortable margin in Arizona. So I'm not so sure about moving Arizona so quickly into the Democratic column. And with a candidate like Amy Klobuchar, I don't see it happening, and we're going to move that one in the leaning Republican column. So yes, so that's the state of Arizona. As for these other western states, we see these ones moving into the Democratic column. Sorry, why can't I just want to move into the leaning? There we go. So Amy Klobuchar we see winning in Colorado and in Nevada, because again we see not necessarily exciting the Latino base here, but we even Hillary Clinton won the state, and Democrats did very well here in the midterms. Colorado elected a Democratic governor. They picked up a House seat. With House seat with Jason Crow, and the governor's seat with Jared Polis. And as for Nevada, they picked up what did they pick up? They picked up a Senate race with Jackie Rosen, and they picked up a governor's race with Steve Sisolak. So Nevada moves into the Democratic column. Same thing with Colorado. But Donald Trump is still losing to Amy Klobuchar in the Electoral count. So where can Trump make up some of his ground? He can make it up in the South. Now, yes, I see the argument for Florida. There's a bunch of new former felons who can now vote in Florida. but we don't see it being enough to get Amy Klobuchar over the line here. Republicans did very well for a blue wave year here. They held on to the governor's seat, they held on to the Senate seat, even though polls predicted that they would lose the former and the latter. So Florida moves into the Trump column. Georgia, this one also moves into the Trump column, and again, I do see the argument Stacey Abrams came so close in Georgia, but she didn't win. And like Texas, she didn't win, and just because someone came close, it doesn't mean that the next round they're just going to win. Georgia, we see moving into the GOP column. It's still a Republican state. Hillary Clinton was not able to carry it. I believe she lost by about 4.5 percentage points. Don't quote me on that, I'm not sure. But yeah, Trump wins in Georgia. In North Carolina, we see Trump also winning in the state of North Carolina. We see him exciting the white base in North Carolina like he did in 2016. And we see Amy Klobuchar coming up short there as well. And as for the midterms in North Carolina, Democrats did not do as well as they expected. They had hoped to pick up a few House seats. That has not happened, except for the North Carolina 9, the whole special election situation. I'm not going to get into that right now. But Trump wins in North Carolina. Amy Klobuchar, we see winning in the state of Virginia. We don't see that being all that difficult for him to do. So yeah, Virginia moves into the Democratic column. So 226 electoral votes for Amy Klobuchar, 234 for Donald J. Trump. Okay, so they're actually very close now, just 8 electoral votes away for the race for the White House. Okay, for Nebraska's 2nd district, yes, you could make the argument it's in the Midwest, Nebraska, midterms. I see it moving into the Trump column. We don't see it being enough to get Amy Klobuchar over the line. Trump wins in Nebraska too. Okay, so 235 electoral votes for Trump, 226 for Amy Klobuchar, the senator from Minnesota. Okay, for Amy Klobuchar, we see her winning Maine at large. And then, sorry, I messed that up. Maine like that. There we go. And then Maine's 2nd district, we see moving into the Trump column. Okay. New Hampshire, we see this one also moving into the Amy Klobuchar column, just because, again, we see even Clinton was able to carry the state, and we see Amy Klobuchar continuing the success that Democrats have had in recent elections in the state of New Hampshire. Okay, so the Midwest is the final little area that we're going to be going over. We see Trump winning Ohio. I mean, yes, Democrats did hold on to the Senate seat, but they had hoped to pick up a governorship, and Mike DeWine, the Republican, did hold on to that governorship for the Republicans. Ohio moves into the Trump column because, again, Trump was able to carry this by a solid margin, like 7-8 percentage points. And that's a solid margin, and it's going to be difficult for the Democrats to make up. And I don't see Trump winning again by 7 to 8 percentage points in Ohio, but we still see him winning by about 2 or 3 percentage points. Okay, in the state of Iowa, we see this one narrowly moving into the Republican column. Now, yes, it is next to Minnesota, but Trump was able to win here by a solid margin. We see Trump continuing the success that Republicans have had in Iowa and narrowly taking the state of Iowa for the Republicans. However, we do see Amy Klobuchar narrowly taking the states of Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, and that seals the deal. And so Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, please look at Democrat success they had in the midterms. They did very well here. They had all of these 3 states elected Democratic governors, all 3 states elected Democratic senators, 2 out of the 3 states and had Democratic House gains, and 1 out of the 3 had sizable Democratic House gains. So that's it for today's video, guys. Yeah, with the Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, that seals the deal for Amy Klobuchar. That's it for today's video, guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.